Hey everyone, welcome to the last and final episode of the work cycle with Flipaclip. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing, it's easy, it's the last part. I've tested out my animation and everything. So I'm just doing the final touches as you can see. If I can zoom in here, I'm just going and adding highlights and a few shades here and there. So I recommend that you actually do this part the last, because what happens is when you have bends and folds, say in the legs here, you want to make sure that the highlights and the shades that you're adding actually go with the floor. If you added this before you broke your puppet up, it's going to be you're going to be breaking them up as well, and so you will need to go back and add the color flats and also add the highlights and shadows. But if you do the highlights and shadows finally, it's going it's going to give it kind of this cohesive look, and you know everything is going to be tied in together finally when you do those. And you can see these ones I'm going frame by frame as well, and I have the onion skinning on. You can see here, I can see what is in front and what is back, and I also color coded them. You can see the hind frame is red and the front frame is green, and the current frame is busy in color. Everything is its full color, so they're like shadows, and once you animate for a little bit you get used to them. But let's just go ahead and add highlights. You can see here on the socks. Now I've determined the light is coming from the back, so the highlights are supposed to be where the light is coming from, depending on the dimensionality of the character. But I like this. It adds some kind of vibes to it. It makes your characters look a lot more believable, and as though you did not paint them in a Flipaclip. In my next series, I'll be showing you guys how you can draw characters from different programs, and then you bring them in here. But for now, this works. This really works well. Just adding a little bit of highlights and shadows in there will make your character stand out, look a lot more believable. So how I get these shades and tints for these highlights, I go pick up the same color with a color picker in an area that I actually want to add the highlights. For example, here in the socks, I picked up this hot pink, and what I usually do is I make it a little lighter. So I just go to the color wheel and make it a little bit lighter in order for me to have that. And I usually stick to 2 or 3 colors throughout my animation. So you can see now I'm working on everything pink. And then after that, I'll go back and choose the red color that she has on her shorts, and I'll work on highlights for those ones as well, and shadows for those ones as well. So it's better to always actually keep your colors a lot limited. It makes work easy for you. For example, here I'm going through all of these, and I'm gonna do all highlights for the color that is purple, pink, whatever you want to call it. And then afterwards I'll go back and pick up the color, and then I'll do all the highlights for a different color, and so on and so forth. It's just rinse and repeat at this point. But it's really interesting. Right now you've already tested your animation. Everything is clear the way you want it. All you want to do is add those tiny bit of details in there. And then also, of course, I'm looking out for things that I may have missed. But remember, drawing for animation most of the times, just adding these tricks makes it believable. All you have to do is to make somebody believe that this girl is actually walking. You don't have to draw a Picasso kind of reality drawings unless your animation or your animation supervisor wants actually that. But for these purposes, all I wanted to show you guys in this series are just the basics of how somebody can actually do an animation cycle. And it's not perfect either. This is just showing just the basics. If I was to animate this character to walk, and it was going to be in a film or YouTube video or whatever, as part of that film, but not the process of showing you how to animate a walk cycle, I would add almost a frame in between all these and make sure that everything actually is more soft and is more easygoing. And as of course, what happens is every once in a while I play the whole thing to see if it's still moving right, because that one highlight or one shadow that you put in the wrong position may be able to throw you off. And if you don't know it's coming from, you can't even recover it. So it's actually good to just do like 3-4 frames and then you test the animation by playing it. And there we go. So in her headphones, I put the highlights and the shadows in there. I put the ones in the shot. And now what's happening, I'm going back in the hair here. In her hair. So I picked up a color that is a little bit darker than what she has for her hair. And I'm going to put shadows in there too. Of course, I'm following the direction of the light as well. I want it to be cohesive with what I have for the for her jumper and the socks. You have to make up your mind and determine where you want your highlights to be and where you want your shadows to be replicated, and not overdo it as well. Just a teeny tiny bit. Like you can see what we're doing here is just enough. I would suggest you use one of your inkers, especially the pen that you use to ink, and you can just adjust it slowly by slowly and draw whatever you want to draw. It's kind of an amazing situation. And the other thing is that I enjoy this process, the agony of trying to animate this, trying to figure it out. You play an animation and it's already jumpy and you try to figure out what frame it comes from. You have to really like that part if you want to be part of the animation. Otherwise, if you get frustrated, I've seen people who say, oh, I'll animate everything, anything, but I will not do a walk cycle, or I'll not do a lip sync. Which brings me to a point. The next series, usually a series takes about 2 hours of video content, but in the next series we're going to be actually animating a lip sync. So in that video series, what you're going to learn is you're going to learn how to add audio into Flipaclip, how to create a character. Of course, all of them I go through how to create a character from scratch. But this time we are going to learn how to lip sync our character. So we're going to create all the mouth shapes and we're going to add our voice or our audio in there. So if you don't know how to add audio in there, just heads up, you're going to be learning that and how you can actually adjust it to sync to your animation. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and draw all the shapes of the mouth, and I'll show you bit by bit, step by step, as always, how to make your character talk. Now we know how to make our character walk. We know already how to make our character blink. The next thing is going to be how to make our character talk in the easiest way possible. So that's going to be our next form of series. And if you've liked watching these ones, guys, please go ahead and leave me a subscribe, share with anybody that you know who's actually using Flipaclip on their phone or tablet to animate. Also leave me a comment in the comment section below so I can understand what you guys think about this and if you really liked it. The other thing that is a bonus, now that we've been going through this almost 4 weeks now, what is going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and compile the whole series, and I'll be uploading it in about 4 days with the whole video. So if you don't want to watch this broken up 4 videos, you could sit through that one video, which is going to be long. I just hope and pray you don't just sit down and try to go through the entire thing all at once, which also explains why we should take it easy and slow and also enjoy the process while we're doing animation. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you're good, and I hope to see you again in the next video.